My name is Elizabeth Landry. I study at Lee University. My major is pre-medical biochemistry, and I research with Professor Dr. Cornett. So Huntington's disease is basically a dominantly inherited neurodegenerative disease. It's dominantly inherited, so if one parent has it, there's a 50% chance their kid will have it at least. It's late onset, which is kind of the debilitating part of the disease, so if it's a spontaneous mutation, you're not going to know until you're 40, 45, and then you'll already have had kids and they already have it, and they have to watch you go through all the symptoms and experience the just really rough end of life that brings, and they know it's coming for them, which is just a whole other mental side of it. Huntington's disease also presents with symptoms such as like schizophrenia or the psychiatric side of it that really can't be treated because you treat psychiatric symptoms with medicine, but this is a pathology issue. It's not like a psychosis issue. And it also presents with things like tremors or loss of speech, loss of movement, loss of fine motor control. That's usually what goes first. The pathology is that the neurons die. It's neurodegenerative. So they kill the gray matter on the outside of the brain, which is where most of the neurons are, and the cerebrum on the inside. The longer the expansion, the worse that's going to be, and the quicker you're going to have symptoms, and the quicker you're going to be terminally ill, essentially. Like, you can test for it, and I mean, it's genetic. We know exactly where it is. You can test for it, like, when the baby has not yet been born. So what do you do if you know you have a family history of it? And I know several people who have told me like their dad has it or their mom has it and they don't want to get tested because they don't want to know. So there's just like a lot of ethical issues surrounding stuff like this. It would be like a cheek swab, which is like how you generally get DNA. They send you a little packet. It's like a tube, and you take the cotton swab the inside of your cheek, stick it back in, and then they sequence your DNA, and they can see, like I said, it's a CAG, trinucleotide repeat on the Huntington protein. They go to the Huntington protein, they see, do you have a repeat more than 30? And if you do, you have Huntington's disease. And they can tell you how long the expansion is, how long your life expectancy is, things like that. This is the molecular biology lab at Lee University. This is where I did the majority of my research, and all of my plates and my results and my supplies are still right in the fridge behind that door. So my day here looks a little bit different in research because it's only me and Dr. Cornett working on the project. In a normal lab, you would have at least 10 or 12 people in your lab kind of running different experiments, doing different things. But since it's me, I did it all, which usually means less than 10 or 12 people could do. So I would get here around 8:30 or 9, depending on what I needed. I would spray isopropanol all over the lab bench, put gloves on, spray it all over my hands, put a coat on, put gloves on, and then get my cells out of the incubator. They're incubated at 37 degrees Celsius, 3% CO2. Put them under the microscope, make sure they didn't die overnight, and then put them on the lab bench and do whatever I needed to them. Sometimes that would be fixing them for an ICC or preparing them with a transfection with Huntington's disease or whatever I needed to do. And oftentimes I'd have 3 or 4 different projects running at the same time to kind of maximize the time that I could spend in the lab. Just if you know anyone who has Huntington's disease or Alzheimer's or anything like that, we're trying really hard and we care. I don't know anyone in my family personally affected by any of these issues, but I care about these people so much that I'm willing to dedicate my whole life to helping them. I know it's terrible, and I'm very sorry that you or a loved one is suffering with them, and I promise you there's a team of scientists behind you working to fix it.